Hello and welcome to the July 2025 edition of the Sol Briefing. I'm Marik von Rennenkampff. A July 16th article in the Italian weekly news magazine L'Espresso, citing anonymous sources, alleges that the Trump White House is seeking to take control of certain secretive programs related to unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, from the Pentagon, the Department of Defense. According to this report, President Trump is mulling disclosing information about UAP in part to, quote, present himself as the president who finally tells the American people the truth, end quote. Now, while we here at the Sol Briefing would generally not give such reporting much credence, we find it notable that the publication in question, L'Espresso, is generally considered a credible center-left investigative news magazine, roughly on par with The Atlantic or Mother Jones in the United States. A tip of the journalistic hat to Liberation Times' Christopher Sharp for first pointing out this intriguing article to us. In an interview with News Nation journalist Ross Coulthart that aired June 30th, Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota, who's one of very few senators to sit on both the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committees, confirmed that he and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer intend to reintroduce the UAP Disclosure Act. Now, just as a reminder, the Disclosure Act is arguably the most extraordinary legislation ever introduced in Congress. In essence, it alleges that a secret government, quote, legacy program has retrieved UFOs and, quote, biological evidence of non-human intelligence. It also defines, quote, non-human intelligence and refers to that extraordinary term 24 times. Perhaps more importantly, the Disclosure Act would supersede all previous classification mechanisms governing UAP and establish a panel of 9 distinguished citizens to review government UAP records for public disclosure. Now, in a July 17th interview with ace congressional reporter Matt Laszlo, Missouri Congressman Eric Burlison stated that he is working with Senator Rounds on the UAP Disclosure Act. And in a fascinating discussion with the Sol Foundation's own Dr. Peter Skafish, Congressman Burlison confirmed that he plans to sponsor the UAP Disclosure Act in the House of Representatives as a companion to the legislation introduced in the Senate by Rounds and Schumer. Now, some context. Senators Schumer and Rounds first introduced the UAP Disclosure Act in 2023. But certain elements in the House of Representatives stripped the legislation of its most critical elements. This led directly to an extraordinary December 13th, 2023 colloquy, which is a scripted exchange between lawmakers on the Senate floor in which Senator Schumer expressed his, quote, outrage at the House for gutting the most important provisions of the Disclosure Act. During this remarkable exchange, Schumer, then the Senate Majority Leader, stated that according to, quote, multiple credible sources, the government has illegally withheld UAP-related information from Congress. But as Congressman Burlison stated recently, the individual most likely to have gutted much of the UAP Disclosure Act previously, Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio, is no longer in a position of authority as the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. In a recent appearance on the Total Disclosure podcast, Congressman Burlison stated that the new chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Rick Crawford of Arkansas, is, quote, absolutely willing to be helpful, end quote. Now, if there is one UAP-related topic that we here at the Sol Briefing will be watching extremely closely over the coming months, it is the fate of the UAP Disclosure Act as it works its way through Congress. Now, speaking of Congressman Burlison, he and Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna of Florida have repeatedly stated their intent to have individuals with firsthand knowledge of unreported or illegal government UAP-related activity testify publicly in an open congressional hearing tentatively scheduled for September. At the same time, in another notable scoop by congressional reporter Matt Laszlo, Congressman Burlison stated that UAP whistleblower David Grush, who testified under oath to the existence of a decades-long UAP retrieval and reverse engineering program, has met twice with the Pentagon's UAP analysis office, including, per Burlison, a, quote, long conversation. Now, this is particularly notable because Congress established the office precisely to investigate the sorts of allegations that Grush and, according to the likes of Secretary of State Marco Rubio, several other high-level officials have made about government involvement with UAP. The same allegations that ultimately informed congressional legislation like the UAP Disclosure Act. Now, lastly, asked in his discussion with the Total Disclosure podcast, Tyler Roberts, about the Intelligence Community Inspector General and its investigation of Grush's allegations, Congressman Burlison stated that, quote, they weren't able to get into the details of what these programs were or were not doing, end quote. And that, again, per Burlison, quote, the programs are not following the law. They're not reporting to Congress, end quote. According to Burlison, the Inspector General's findings are, quote, consistent with what he, Grush, was saying, end quote. These comments, which explicitly suggest illegal activity by shadowy elements of the U.S. government, are quite remarkable coming from a sitting congressman. And on that note, I'm very much looking forward to Dr. Skafish's discussion with former Inspector General of the Intelligence Community, Chuck McCullough. And in full candor, McCullough's legal representation of Grush is in large part why I personally found and find Grush, and by extension his underlying allegations, of such enormous interest. And finally, a reminder that registration for the 2025 Sol Symposium is now open. This engaging event will feature thought leaders from government, academia, and beyond, and will take place October 25th through October 27th on the shores of Lake Maggiore in northern Italy. For more information, a link is in the description below this video. If you are able to join us, we very much look forward to seeing you there.